Of the Dragon video, and I love this episode. I think it's my favorite so far, and that's only because of the build of the other episodes, even though some of them in the beginning I wasn't a fan of, but it's building and I like it. Now, just to say some stuff, I've been getting some comments where it's just kind of like, this is super obvious, or this or that. Like, yes, I do watch a lot of TV shows, but I watch a lot of TV shows on a wide range, and so sometimes other types of shows I watch less than others. I don't really watch medieval fantasy shows that often, so even though I knew that Rhaenyra wanted Daemon, I did not immediately see the political reasons as to why. So like unifying them so she could get the dragons. Like, Rhaenyra didn't strike me as somebody who was thinking that far ahead. I think she's smart, but I didn't think she was thinking about it like, ooh, let me get with Daemon because it'll make me stronger. No, I figured, and I do think this is partially true, that it was just that she was in love with him and she always wanted him, and so she had him, and there just so happened to be positives to that would aid her and make her stronger. I didn't think that, like some of the guys who were watching, just like, oh, she did this to be stronger. Like, no, not to me personally. So what I will say is, I do like the comments that, say those things, because they let me know the more political side, strategy, army strategy, war strategy, kingdom strategy. Because even though I might be able to tell it because I've watched a lot of shows, I won't always catch it. So definitely let me know about those things in the comments as it relates to the episodes. But be, a little more respectful about it. You don't need to treat me like you think I'm stupid or something, because I'm not dumb. I'm just watching this show as a dramatic show. I'm not necessarily focusing on the art of war aspects of it in terms of certain things. Yes, I can see the art of war aspect as it pertains to characters like Otto and, Alicent and Larys and, people like that, because they are obviously just there to play the Game of Thrones. But when it comes to people like Rhaenyra, who, don't necessarily care about the throne all that seriously, but end up having to later on, I'm not going to just immediately think of their political gain in the matter, is what I'm saying. So, just be a little bit more respectful. I'm trying to be respectful. If I'm not, I'm sorry. I know some people didn't like what I had to say about Jace in the last episode. I still said what I said. It was a joke. Like, I said, you deserve nothing, Jon Snow. Obviously, it was a joke. But yeah, I do think that he was being a little selfish. Did he have a good claim to be upset at that time? Definitely. But, that's not the funeral you're at. And so to be upset at the very idea of consoling your own cousins, it was giving very Aegon. Alicent's kids, and how nobody would disagree if I said they were being selfish at the time. Yeah, he was giving very Aegon, and he changed. And I'm gonna speak about that later, but I just needed to put this little disclaimer out there. Alright, definitely let me know what you want me to know in the comments, but just be respectful. Act like you're talking to somebody where it's like, ooh, I just want to tell you more about this. Don't act like you're talking to somebody who, number one, doesn't like the show, or number two, you hate. Like, if you dislike me, just dislike the video. Okay, that's what dislike button is for. The rudeness outside of that, I don't really see the point in, because if I watch a video and I dislike it, I either walk away or I dislike the video. There's not really much for me to say. This is a new show that most people weren't even sure was going to be good. So any slightly negative feedback isn't necessarily unwarranted. Like, the show is not over yet. Even though it's going well, we still don't know. So yeah, that's my whatever. Let me get into character by character, because we might as well. I guess I'll start with Vaemon. Didn't even know his name until this episode. so annoying. He decided that because he knows that the Targaryen boys are, well, Rhaenyra's Targaryen boys are bastards, or the first three are bastards, that he should be the new ruler of Driftmark, even though Rhaenys is right there and doing quite fine and is very strong. So, even though he made a whole thing about, look what he did, he put his daughter as whatever, like, even though he tried to act really progressive, he really didn't care. So he died today, and it was good, because he was just doing way too fucking much. Like, I understand why he was upset, but after a while, it just kind of seemed like, get over it, because here's the first thing, right? He's talking about how his line is going to drift away and die, and it's like, well, why did you say that after Rhaenys told you that they were going to end up marrying their cousins who are of Valyrian blood and are also black, so the kids would turn out mixed as well, so the blood isn't dying, so like, your little claims are now dashed. Get to stepping, my nigga. Get to stepping. And, good old Daemon. I thought somebody needs to get this nigga Daemon out of here. And Daemon just did the job for me. He just did the job for me. I love him. Okay? Daemon is my nigga. Okay? And we all knew that. Okay? I love Daemon. And so he just did that. Okay? And, goodbye, Daemon. Alright, next. So, let's talk about Daemon since I brought him up. Daemon is really playing dutiful dutiful consort, He's being very respectful to Rhaenyra. It's a very good unit. I like it. Like I said, I knew Daemon wasn't a fully bad guy. I knew he was just a bit ambiguous, Like, and I spoke about this with my sister the other day, and I realized it too. Like, the only reason he wanted the throne in the beginning is because he thought his brother wasn't doing enough. If he could see that his brother was being strong enough, he wouldn't have wanted to do it. And so that's why it was so easy for him to just kind of stake his claim and then let it go. I like Daemon. Daemon is perhaps my favorite character. I just love his energy. Apparently there are some things in the books that are not translating very well in the show. Like the fact that in the books, Daemon did really love Laena. And even though we see it a little bit in the show, it's not fully translated in the show. And he really loved his daughters too. And we're not really getting much of that because, the time skips. But I'm just going to leave that little book canon as my canon. Okay, my bias, my Daemon, my nigga. It looks like, they've had a few kids. Viserys and another Aegon. I understand the importance of naming a kid Aegon, but like, we all know the prince that was promised is literally Jon Snow. So I'm gonna need y'all to realize that and be okay with it. Alright? Alright. So that is what has been going on recently with that side of things. Let's get into Rhaenyra. She might also be my favorite character. It took me a minute because she was also an ambiguous character. You're never sure. Does she really want the crown? Does she not? Does she really like Daemon? Does she not? Does she even really like Sir Christian or the late Sir Harwin Strong? Did she really even like those people? Does she not? You could never fully tell her motives. The only thing that you knew for sure is that she really did love her old best friend Alicent, but that all went to crap. And so I'm really happy this episode with her growth. It is a little funny that she just tries to solve all of her family beefs with marriage, but I understand. That's the way you mended fences and stopped wars back then. So, I get it. Also Daemon found a couple dragon eggs from Virax. I'll get the dragon name soon. So that's great. Let's get into the kids. Let's just pile them all up into one. So Baela is really excited to jump into. So it looks like Baela is really excited to marry Jace. Let me just say it nicely. To marry Jace. She's really excited for that. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. I'm letting it go, guys. I'm letting go of my disgust with the inbreeding thing, because it's this show. It's supposed to be normal, so I'm gonna let it be normal. So in spirit of that, I like Daemon and Rhaenyra together. They're cute, and it's cute how excited Rhaenyra and Baela were to be betrothed to Jace and Luke. It also shows that their relationship has progressed nicely. Because, at first, Jace didn't really care about them. He was very insular. He only cared about his family. So it's nice to see that, after they mourned together and defended each other against Aemon, that the relationship did grow strong enough that when a marriage was proposed, they were all kind of like, well, not they. Let's just say Jace, Rhaenyra, and Baela were like, oh, that's great. Because it shows that they have a level of trust where they're like, yeah, I can trust this person to protect me. I can trust it. Of course, with Baela, now let's get to Baela. it kind of looked like she was excited for something else. I'm like, Baela, are you looking at him like that? Look, it looks like she really just wants, she wants some of that Targaryen sword. You know what I'm saying? Because them Valyrian girls, they got that. Let me stop. Valyrians water a Targaryen's sword. You got a stupid joke. But, so they seem very excited about that. And at first I was just like, bro, come on. But it is kind of cute. So I'm gonna let it slide. It's cute. So Jace has grown to be an attractive, nice young man who seems to be very good. He's giving me Robb Stark energy, which is a very good thing. I really like him. I really like him a lot. So he has grown for me as well. And I like that. I like having characters that I didn't like at first that I grew to like. Obviously, there's always a special place in my heart for characters that I always liked, right? But when there are characters that I like to a certain extent or never liked, and then I grow to like them, that is special as well. So Jace, you're up in the rankings. Good job, my man. Good job. Let's get into Aemon for a second. The fact that he's beating Sir Christian in sparring is very worrisome to me, because I remember they made a big thing about Sir Christian being that guy in the ring, right? And so I'm just like, Aemon, he's been working, over the years. He's been working. And so if he catches y'all 1v1, I don't know. Like, because of this episode, we see them worrying about their station and learning different languages. We don't really see them sparring with anybody. Aemon has gone up. He has an eye patch now. He's getting really villainous. He's the Lord of the Smirk. Every look he gives us a smirk. And let me say this about little Luke. I empathize with him being scared about the driftmark thing. But bro, get your wits about you. Because when that pig was dropped in front of Aemon and Luke laughed, I was like, you have no sense of couth. Because why in God's name would you laugh at him? Why would you laugh? So of course Aemon got up, and being the intelligent man that he is, instead of throwing a fist, he just casually alluded to them being bastards. Like, you're such strong young men. I was like, bro. And then Aegon got into the mix and started hitting nigga. Aegon, bro, you over here raping women. And I'm just like, multiple women? Because the way that Alicent had to take care of it made it seem like it was a routine. Huh? Give them a little bit of money and give them a little bit of that morning after tea. A little bit of that after pill brew. Like, bro, like, get your act together. And I want to say, even though I like Aemon's casting, I don't really like Aegon's. It's making Aegon look younger than Aemon. So I'm a little bit confused as to why that actor choice, you know? Because at least with Rhaenyra's kids, you can tell who is who because of the ages. The only reason you can tell that's Aegon is because he doesn't have an eye patch, but he looks younger than Aemon. So it's a little like, you could have done better with that. He looks too young. Even the little sister looks... Are they married? Is that what she was saying? She was like, he'll leave you alone unless he's drunk. Like, is she married to her brother? Ugh, okay. So, that is what's going on with that section of the children's diary. The kids are still internally fighting. And it's funny because like as soon as Rhaenyra and Alicent are about to start bearing the hatchet, and I'll discuss whether or not I think that's really what's happening here. As soon as they are on that type of wave, then all of a sudden the kids are restarting the generational beef behind the scenes. Crazy. Yeah, let's talk about Viserys. Tragic, sad. Oh my god, that man, decrepit, just falling apart at the seams. When he took that part of the mask off, I was like, makeup team deserves an Emmy, because my god, woo, the moving muscles and the tendons in the cheek. So they had sort of a last supper at his request. He went into the army room in the beginning the throne room, to set things straight, you know. And I like Viserys, but he's always been a peacekeeper, so we respect him for that. I know I had issue with him in the beginning for picking Alicent and for like cutting open his wife, but apart from those two lapses in judgment, because it was a lapse in judgment, I like him overall. So, you know, it will be sad to see Viserys go, because he was genuinely the nicest person in the room. And so now that he is dying, I think he died in the last scene. I'm not sure why they would pan to him wheezing on and on and on and on and on like that if he's not dead. But yeah, so R.I.P. and I'll finally give him the status of the real one, because I respect him. R.I.P. the real one, Viserys. Okay. He will be missed, because everything's about to get crazy now that he's gonna go. Yeah, we know that. It's about to be some sad days, but I am prepared for it, okay? One downfall of this episode, where is Larys? Like, bro, like, this episode would have been perfect to me if Larys was here. Like, I needed a little bit of, ooh, stuff is brewing, you know? And stuff is already brewing, but I like to see the stuff brewing on his side, because that would immediately have to do with Alicent and the High Towers. Let's get into the High Towers. Otto, no. I still want him out of here. I still don't like him. I understand from a strategy point of view, he needs to be there to add intrigue and the little finger touch and I just don't like him. And the nerve of him sitting there with Vaemond being like, talking to Alicent like, do you really want a kid ruling a fleet? I'm like, did you really want a child banging the king? Oops, too close to home, is it? No, it's not too close to home, because you didn't care. You didn't mind sending your child to go do adult things for the sake of the realm. So what's the problem with Luke doing what he has to do for the sake of the realm? Shut up. God, I hate Otto. And I loved it when Alicent was doing what she had to do, being friendly with Rhaenyra, and Otto was just looking at her like, Huh? I was laughing at him. I was like, yeah. Shut up. So yeah, there's that as well. I still don't like Otto. The way he sat down on that throne, like he's been wanting to do it for years. Like, get that man out of here. Get that man out. Alright, goodbye. I don't want to talk about Alysanne and Rhaenyra until the end. So let me see if I can remember anybody else. Oh, Rhaenys. Yeah, she's giving back Bone of Driftmark. She took on Baela as her ward. So a lot of stuff is happening. There. Corlys might be dead. I didn't mention that. Or he's dying. So that's how this whole Driftmark succession thing has come to a head. Rhaenys, once the king came to settle everything, he gave Rhaenys time to speak, and Rhaenys decided to side with Rhaenyra, and I'm very happy about that because I don't think Rhaenyra has ever had a problem with Rhaenys. Obviously, when she was younger, she didn't really respect her, but that's because nobody respected her, and so as a kid, Rhaenyra was just, calling her what everybody else would call her and treating her the way everybody else who wasn't of Driftmark treated her. So I'm glad to see that she now has respect. I was hoping that she would have just let Rhaenys know that your son isn't dead. We just faked a death so that he could get out of being married and sent him on his merry way. But I guess you don't know how into tradition she is. She might not have been for that. Because she had to believe the delusion that her son was a good husband. Do what you will, Rhaenys. Do what you will. So at least that fence is being mended after decades. My God. Yeah. I think that's everybody who matters. Oh, the Lannister was there at the council table. I know it's in the future, but I already still don't like the Lannisters. The Lannisters is just like, oh my God. And the minute I see a Baratheon, it's like, oof, we know what's gonna happen there. I guess that's probably with a prequel series. You already know what's gonna happen. So certain people you're just like on edge about immediately because you're like, I know what your descendants be up to. Nope. But the Lannisters are already kind of like, ew, they're already red flags with or without the original series to show off all that. I love when he talks about Aegon's dream, the series, because all I'm thinking about is like when he talks about the prince that was promised, and I just get all teary-eyed. It's like, Jon Snow. Jon Snow is the prince that was promised, right? I should just look up a bunch of videos about it so I can be up to date, but I just don't really have the time. I will at some point though. Let's get into Alysanne and Rhaenyra. Alysanne first. I don't know. A part of me was really heartwarmed when she accepted Rhaenyra's plea for, truce or whatever. But a part of me thinks that maybe Alysanne is playing her. Maybe. And I'm not saying this out of any spite, because Alysanne is smart. She's actually smarter than Rhaenyra, personally, in my personal opinion. Except when it comes to raising these kids, because she just raised a bunch of crazy bastards. But to me personally, I don't know, I feel like she either did mean it, because maybe that's why Otto's looking at her like, wow, for real, or she's just playing her and Otto's just not aware, which is also why Otto's just looking at her like, what are you doing? What are you talking about here? So yeah, it could be that, but we'll see. We will see. So Alysanne has been having to clean up Aegon's mess. She masterfully gaslit that gun to keeping her mouth shut. Masterfully. Alysanne is just wow. But you could tell even from she was a kid that she knows her role, she plays it well. Well. So we will see what's going on there. Yeah, we will see. Next up, and last but not least for me right now, is Rhaenyra. So I might have brought her up a little bit throughout this entire thing. She's still worried about, her kids and whatever, but at least Viserys' dying breath was used to legitimize them and shut everybody up. So that's good for her. I love the moments that she had with her father where she spoke about how she's not sure she wants this, and it's hard. And yeah, she made it hard on herself a little bit, but it's just super hard for her. She doesn't know, like, if you want me to have this, stand behind me, or stand beside me, fight for me. So he did. It was great. R.I.P. Viserys. I know it's going to be really hard on Rhaenyra because she did love her father, and I did actually like what was happening between Viserys and Daemon, how they sort of also buried the hatchet in those last moments they had together. It was just all really sweet and dear. And like I said before, with the kids, there is a clear difference in how Rhaenyra raised her kids. They have their fucked up moments, but they're at least nicer people, and I would feel better with them being on the throne than like Alicent's kids, because oof, train wrecks. Oof. So when our song was like, we both love our children, I was like, do you? I mean, I like you, Ali, but like, you loving your children, I'm not so sure about that one. Not so sure. Alright, next episode's going to be coming up. I'm even more excited. Things are getting better as they progress. And that'll be about it. Thank you so much, my sires, for watching this review. And I'll see you next week. Alright, goodbye. Sue.